All right, let me check out the Nearpod. Thank you, Jesu, for signing as well. Thank you, Alexandra. Thank you, Anthony, Delfina, Rahad.
Good morning, Mr. Martin.
Hey, good morning. There's the link and the code. If we can get everyone logged into the Nearpod in the next couple of minutes so we can get started, that will be fantastic. Yeah. So it looks like we're still waiting on 5 more people. All right, so got 1 more minute left, and it looks like we're still waiting on 3 people to join, okay? In 1 minute, we're gonna move forward with the lesson though. I'll send the code and the link one more time. Okay, we're gonna move forward in like 20 more seconds. And I'm gonna send the link and the code and one last time in a bit. I think one of the reasons, why I like to use Nearpod is also because it demonstrates to me which students are actually participating, are actually, doing things in their classes, because it's very easy for a student to just log into the Zoom and then just go take a nap or something, but if I have them log into the Nearpod as well, then it makes it, then they have to participate in another way, right? So anyway, all right, I'm going to send the link and the code one more time, but we are moving forward with the lesson. Okay. Today what we're talking about is we're going to talk a little bit about modern slavery. I would like to give you guys more time to discuss this, but unfortunately, there's just like, we know that the semester this year is like it's only a couple of classes each week, and the year is shorter for all the teachers as well. So we're doing the best we can. So today we're going to talk a little bit about modern slavery, and we're also going to talk about a meal paragraph, okay? So we are doing, and I just realized I haven't shared my screen, but I know it's not a big deal because you can all see it on your side, but I'll just share the screen anyway, just in case. All right, so so we're going to talk about the meal paragraph. So I'm going to have you write a meal paragraph as sort of a conclusion or a summary to this unit. And I think if you've been paying attention and you've been doing the work for the class so far for this topic, it should actually be pretty easy. So yeah, so it's not such a big deal, but it does give you a lot of points. So cool, All right, so let's get into it. All right, so first I want to review a couple of basically a description of what modern slavery is, just so we can get, so you understand what we mean when we say modern slavery. So if I could get someone to read this definition, that would be great. Who feels like reading?
Eh?
What? What was that? What? Oh, Akira, okay, I see your hand. You raised your hand and you didn't just go, huh? All right, Akira, go ahead.
Slavery has existed when one person completely controls another person using threat, violence, or the threat of violence to maintain the control. In slavery, people are slaves permanently, paid nothing, and cannot work collectively.
All right, thank you, Akira. Um, and for those of you who need translations, there you go. So basically, uh, modern slavery, right? So modern slavery, it's, you know, I think when we think about slavery, it really is just like a concept of one person or group is completely in control of another person or group. I think that's like, we can all agree that that's a big part of slavery. And another big part is that it's through the use of violence, right? So the way that one person controls another person is by using violence or by threatening the person with violence, right? And and I think when we think about slavery today, is that there's a big part of it is economics. So um, so basically, like a lot of the relationship between the person who is enslaving other people is a motivation is economics, it's money. So and so one of the characteristics of this is that if someone is enslaving someone else, it means that they are not paying them, they're not really paying them, and they all the person who is a slave, who is being controlled, they cannot leave very easily. Okay. um, so even if you, for example, if you have a really bad job with bad working conditions, um, but you can leave, you can go get another job. This is not slavery because you have a choice to leave. But if it is like modern slavery, you have bad conditions, maybe you're being mistreated in your job, you're not getting paid really in your job, but you also cannot leave. Like you don't have the choice to leave. I think that's another big characteristic. All right. Um, let's continue to another part of the definition. Who would like to read this one?
Oh, me.
Yeah, go ahead, Hazel.
What is modern slavery? Modern slavery is also known as trafficking in person, human trafficking, human trafficking. A couple of major types of modern slavery are sex trafficking and forced labor. Forced slavery can be described as involuntary servitude and
Good.
deep bondage because you own money or something else.
All right, Hazel. Thank you. There were a lot of new, maybe tricky words in there, but I think you did a good job. Thank you, Hazel. And so I think when we're talking about modern slavery, like we're actually like you actually will not see modern slavery. You're not going to see modern slavery as a word very often unless it's to make a comparison to let people know that slavery still exists. Okay, that's the only time you'll really see the phrase modern slavery used. But really, what it is like you. But the thing that you'll hear more often is something called human trafficking, and that's basically the term that's the more like the legal term as well. Like if when they do uh, catch someone who is selling other people, the I think the actual crime would be human trafficking. Um, so yeah, so that's basically what like if you guys want to find like kind of distinguish and think like what do we actually call modern slavery, I think you will hear human trafficking as a more common word or phrase. And yeah, so basically there's two big parts types of it. It's it's a sex trafficking and also forced labor. And I guess and forced labor, like the way it's very common that it happens is, for example, people will want to, and I think this will sound very maybe familiar to some students, to some people, but so people want to go to another country for economic reasons. They want to go to another country because they want to find better jobs, more money for their families, okay? And what happens is that people make this decision and they find out that there's people who, there's groups of people who are migrating to a different country and where they can get better jobs. So basically, but you know, they don't have money to migrate. They don't have money to travel. So the people who are, you know, organizing this travel, they tell them, hey, don't worry, you know, if you can travel for free. The only thing is that when we get there, you will have to work for some time for very little money or for no money because you're paying us back. You're paying for your trip the first couple of months, right? Or the first few weeks. They say you will need to work for free or for very little because you're basically paying us back with your work, right? And so this sounds like it's fine. You know, this doesn't sound too bad. So people agree to it. And then what happens is they basically become like enslaved. It's not just a few weeks or a couple of months, it becomes much longer. They are treated very badly. They are not paid for this labor. And so basically, you know, people who were trying to just make some money for their families, they get trapped in slavery because they trusted the wrong people. Okay, so I think that's a very common way that that especially people who are looking for work, that's how they get sort of trapped into human trafficking, into modern slavery. Okay, so what we're going to do right now is we're going to watch a couple of videos, and give me 1 second, sorry. All right, so we're going to watch a couple of videos, and for the first video, what I want you to do is the first video gives you a lot of statistics, okay? And I just want you to choose one of the statistics that you'll see in the video that you think is interesting, that is new to you, and then you're going to put it in the post right after the video, okay? So básicamente lo que van a hacer es van a ver el video, ¿verdad? Y en el video tiene con muchas estadísticas, mucha información sobre esclavitud moderna y vas a elegir una de esas estadísticas, una información nueva, un detalle que es nuevo para ti o interesante para ti, y lo van a poner en el post que es lo luego a seguir del video, okay? So that's basically what you're doing for this first video. So here we go with the video, and let me just make sure that I'm sharing sound, not just video. Oh, look, I wasn't sharing sound. Great, so I just saved us some problems. All right, so here we go. Okay, so let's check that out. All right, so all right, what I'm asking you to do is to post just something interesting that you saw in the video, something new or something interesting, some statistic, and share it here, okay? And it's just a one, so you can say something, for example, like, so those are your options. All right. Akira wrote something. Akira, is that what you wanted to write?
No.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna delete it then, okay? Just making sure. All right. So, recuerden que van a escribir un detalle que vieron que era interesante en el video o una estadística interesante que vieron en el video, right? And I think this should only take like maybe a couple of minutes. You don't have to, it could be very short. All right. Okay, Google. Set a timer for 2 minutes.
2 minutes, and that's starting now.
So thank you for those of you who have posted something. If you have not posted something yet, you have another minute. You have 30 more seconds. Les quedan 30 segundos. All right, so you guys can still keep posting while we're talking about this, but yeah. So can I get a couple of people to just like share or discuss like what their interesting detail was and why they thought it was interesting? All right, go ahead, Akira.
I found interesting that the 34% of victims were kids.
Yeah, so like all the human trafficking, 34% were children. Yeah. What did you find interesting about that? Like, were you surprised by the number?
Yeah, because why do they kids? The others are more useful. No?
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for sharing, Akira. Does anyone else want to talk about some other detail that they thought was interesting? anyone else want to share? Or maybe I can just point out something that I also thought was interesting if no one wants to share. I guess just in response to this one over here, on the bottom left, one thing I learned about modern slavery from this video is that there are a lot of people, and the most human trafficking happened in Vietnam, the UK, and another country. The other country was Albania. So yeah, so there's Albania is like in Eastern Europe. So that's also where a lot of, I guess, trafficking happens. Yeah, and I guess this would be another interesting statistic that in 85 countries in the world, there is some form of human trafficking happen, right? So yeah, so it's I guess we can say it's not a, it doesn't happen just in one country, and it's not something that's not very big. You know, it's like it happens in a lot of places around the world, a lot of different countries. So yeah. I don't know what else to say. It's just like, yeah, I think when you look at the numbers, it really is like something that is worldwide, and it's, you know, it seems to be organized too. It's like a system, right? All right, so thank you guys for posting and thank you for sharing. Okay, but thank you for letting me know, Sajakovic. Okay, so we're gonna watch another video, and basically when we finish watching the video, I want you to answer this question, okay? And then that'll basically be it before I have to start explaining to you about the meal paragraph, okay? But basically, I want you to, so you're gonna watch the video. It's like 2.5 minutes long, and I want you to tell me what's one thing based on the video and based on the homework from last week. Remember, for homework, you also had to read an article about modern slavery, okay? So based on the homework and the video, what's something that you thought is similar between modern slavery and slavery that existed in the United States, okay? So basado en el video que vamos a ver ahorita y la tarea que tuvieron de la semana pasada, donde tuvieron que leer el artículo sobre la esclavitud moderna, que es algo que tenían similar, que es algo similar entre la esclavitud moderna y la esclavitud que existió en los Estados Unidos. Okay, so that's basically what you need to do. All right. So if you didn't read the article, you need to pay close attention to the video. If you read the article for homework, great. Then you're going to watch the video and you're going to think about the homework, and you're going to be able to have more things to compare. Okay, so let me go back here to the video, and yeah, here we go.
If I never argue with them, still I will be their slave. My job was to take care of them, take care of the house, take care of all their needs. They never allowed me to go outside. When they go outside, I have to be with them. And when they go outside, they have to lock me inside the house. I don't have any privacy. I sleep in the living room. No bathroom to take my shower. My things are all placed in the toilet. Every day, 24 hours on call, no day off, no freedom. They only verbally abuse me, calling me names as stupid, animal, garbage. I respect the family where I'm working, but they never show me respect. Even by the food, how sometimes they eat scrap foods from the plate and not from the serving plate. I feel as if I'm flying up on air, like before I was my feeling is just I was carrying a heavy load on me. Now that I'm free, I feel very, very happy. Recovering from emotional and mental abuse is very difficult. Still, how many times I forget, but it always pops up in my mind. Although how much I miss my family, although how much I miss my daughter, going back is not my priority now because as a breadwinner of the family, I have to work. My advice to anybody who's working in a housemaid, being abused, just continue to be brave. Think of your family. Don't do anything bad. And wait for the time you're ready to fight for your rights.
Okay. So go ahead and so Djokovic, I guess you started to write your answer before you watched the video. So all right, you might have to edit it. Okay, but so now you're gonna just write something based on the video we just saw or based on the article that you read last week. And I'm just gonna show you the article because I keep saying the article, but maybe you guys don't remember them. So if you remember this article, you had to read for homework. Okay, so based on this article and based on the video we just saw, what is something similar that you noticed between modern slavery and the slavery that existed in the United States? Okay, so I'm gonna put down maybe, why is my flashlight on? I'm gonna put down 4 minutes to share, 4 minutes to complete this. Okay, Google, set a timer for 4 minutes.
4 minutes, starting now.
Mister, usted me preguntó algo.
What's up?
Usted dijo, usted me mencionó, ¿qué fue?
¿De qué? I
Yo
said
escuché
your,
que usted dijo, "Se Jacoby", cuando
well,
vi mi video.
yeah, I said your name because I saw that you started writing the answer, which means that you started doing the answer before we did watch the video. So
Usted sabía
it
que yo
was
estaba
not that.
escribiendo la
Hey, well,
respuesta.
I know. I didn't tell you guys that. I'm sorry. I don't know. I just figured that you would understand. It's okay. Just finish the answer.
Usted sabía que yo estaba escribiéndola antes de yo ver el video, ¿verdad?
It tells me right there. It tells me right there. Okay. So stop wasting time. You only have about 3 minutes now.
Pero ¿cuál es el artículo que tenemos que compararlo?
Akira?
El artículo con el que tenemos que compararlo, ¿cuál es?
¿Cuál es? Es el que lo pueden hacerlo basado en el video que acabamos de ver o el artículo que tuvieron que hacer para tarea. ¿Recuerdan esto? Este artículo. So básicamente es esto. Basically, I'm asking you to do this. If you did the homework, then you should have some information. You should have some details in your head because the article gives just examples and examples of human slavery today. If you didn't read the article, I'm not asking you to read the article right now. I'm asking you to base your answer on the video we just saw. Okay? So, si vieron el artículo, si no hicieron el artículo, si no hicieron la tarea, le estoy pidiendo que basen su respuesta en el video que acabamos de ver. Y si hicieron las dos cosas, hicieron la tarea y también vieron el video, pues tienen más cosas que comparar.
Mister, can you send the link of Nearpod? Because it took me out. I don't know why. And Zoom too.
Okay, I mean, I guess you'll just have time to maybe write the answer, but I think this is the last thing we're doing with Nearpod today, William. I'll still send you the link, but I think this is basically it for today for Nearpod. We're gonna do something on Google Classroom next. There you go.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And hopefully it won't ask you for the code. And as you can see, I can see where, like, who's finishing the work. Okay, so let me exit this one now. No, I'll just leave it open for a bit. Okay. All right. So if you're still writing the answer, you can finish your answer. I'll have the, excuse me, I'll leave the Nearpod open after class even. So if you wanted to finish your answer to this question, you can still finish the answer, okay? You should still have access to the Nearpod. All right, so someone give me give me a couple of ways that modern slavery is similar to slavery that exists in the United States. Who would like to share their responses? So Djokovic, okay. So I believe I can share it with everyone actually, which I think is pretty cool. Can everyone see it? So Djokovic's answer?
No.
No?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead, Djokovic.
That in the two slavery people have work, but no. And the worst thing is that the work was almost mistreatment.
Okay, so like the way that they worked was like just based, the work itself was mistreatment. Can you give me some example? Like you said, it's almost like mistreatment. So what do you mean by where did you see mistreatment?
Yo lo voy a decir en español, sí, porque, por ejemplo, los trabajos que uno tiene que limpiar, por ejemplo, baños en restaurantes, digamos, no es que paguen mucho tampoco, para hacer un trabajo que sea tan desagradable para algunos. Entonces, hay personas que se sienten tristes haciendo eso y lo sienten como si fuera una esclavitud, porque no tienen otro remedio que trabajar y eso.
Okay. All right. ¿Y cómo eso compara con la esclavitud en los Estados Unidos del pasado?
Claro, porque la persona, había muy poco que trabajaban, pero cuando trabajaban era en base al maltrato. O sea, trabajaban siendo maltratados, aunque sea así, y más por el racismo y eso y aquello.
Okay. So you're saying like just the work itself was mistreatment, like people who are in modern slavery today, they might work in a restaurant or something like that, but it's like they're not treated very well and they're not paid a lot of money. And I guess you're saying it's similar to slavery in the United States but here like there was just like a bigger mistreatment maybe, like there was just more, I don't know what, like the mistreatment was part of the work too, right? Okay. Thank you, Stojakovic. I can unshare it now. All right. Does anyone else want to? And I would like to hear. I would like to leave more time available, but it looks like I could only hear from one more person because I need to explain to you what the meal paragraph assignment is. Okay. So can I hear from one more person? ¿Puedo escuchar a otra
Me.
persona más?
Me.
Who's me?
Jesus.
Jesus. Okay, there you go, Jesus. Let me find your response. Okay, go ahead, Jesus.
Some similarity between modern slavery and American slavery is that slavery did not get enough food they needed. Some families were dead. They worked as a farmer.
Okay. So yeah, I think in the video we saw earlier, like it looked like they were doing like maybe not farmer, but they were doing more physical work, right? Like in American slavery, they were doing more physical work, like in the farm. In modern slavery, I think in the first video it talked about more construction jobs. I think the whole didn't get enough food. I think that's true. Like I think Mitos in the video we just saw, she talked about how they didn't give her a lot of food, and then does anyone remember where sometimes they give her food from what? Sometimes what kind of food did they give her? A veces qué tipo de comida le daban a Mitos? Did you guys understand what they said?
Creo que era como el resto de los platos de ellos y no de donde ellos se servían.
Yeah, exactly. So like the leftovers. So when they were finished with their food and they just had little pieces of food on their plate left, like the leftovers, they would just give that food to her, like basically the same way like you would do to like an animal, like a dog, like they would just give her the leftovers. So yeah, I think a lot of connection between like being treated like an animal. I think that's like fair to say. Like that's like a good sort of general statement is that, in American slavery, I think the people were treated like very much like animals in many ways. And the same in modern slavery, at least with Mitos' example, it seemed like very, very much like an animal too. All right. Well, thank you to those of you who shared. It's appreciated. If you haven't finished your answer, please write something for the answer. This is something like I do give you a grade for participation. Sí les doy calificación para participación. And that's why I think I started using Nearpod, because it makes it easier to see who's actually participating and who's just logging into the Zoom but not really doing anything. So, please answer the question. I'll leave the Nearpod open, but we're going to move on to a different topic, okay? So let me share the other screen so we can follow along there. Okay, so if you are all in your Google Classrooms, you will see something for the week 10 for this week. That this week is slavery unit assessment, and here it is. Okay, so your assignment for this to close out this unit is to write a meal paragraph. Okay, la asignación para esta semana es escribir un párrafo meal. All right, and so let's take a look at the assignment. Okay, let's view assignment. All right, so let me explain, like, basically, because maybe this looks a little confusing. So we have these different links, right? So here is your work. This is where you're gonna do your work. Okay, this is the actual paragraph this is where you're gonna have to type up the work for the meal paragraph. I also included a translation of this document here for Spanish and French. But this is just so you understand, like if you wanted just a quick translation, you can look at these documents, right? But you cannot edit them. You cannot put your work here, okay? But it's just good to have them here so that you understand like what it's talking about, all right? Like what the paragraph is about. But no pueden escribir aquí, por ejemplo, aquí no pueden typear, ¿verdad? Pero pueden ver aquí de qué se trata el párrafo. Okay, so it's just so you understand the directions and stuff. All right, and then here, of course, you have the link to this website, which is where you're going to get the information, the evidence for the meal paragraph, and maybe depending on which question you choose, you will also need to use this website as a source. But well, let's review, okay? Let's look at the assignment first, okay? And hopefully it becomes clear. All right, so this meal paragraph is about debunking myths about slavery. We've already done something like you basically already did something like this during class. I'm just asking you to do like a more formal writing as a meal paragraph. Okay, ya hicieron algo similar en clase, nomás les estoy pidiendo que hagan como algo escrito más formal de forma de párrafo meal, right? So here are the directions. You need to choose one of these myths, just one, okay? You need to choose just one to focus on, okay? And basically your purpose in this meal paragraph is to debunk, to disprove the myth that you choose, okay?
According to the nation, the train myth of American is myth called.
Manuel? Manuel? Do you have a question? Okay, no. All right. So you have to choose one of these myths to disprove, okay? And of course, you have to complete all parts of the meal paragraph in order for it to be considered complete. All right. Now, here are the myths you have to choose from. And remember, you are only choosing one of these myths. So of course, whichever myth you think is the most interesting to disprove, then you should be choosing that one, okay? Entonces aquí están los mitos de los que puedes elegir. Solamente van a elegir uno y claro que les pido que elijan el mito que se les va a hacer más interesante para contradecir, para decir por qué no es correcto, por qué no es verdad este mito. Okay, so number one, enslaved people were happy under slavery and had a better life under slavery. So I think this is something we did in class. So, you know, you're just writing a formal meal paragraph for it. Okay, so that's number one choice. Number two, enslaved people were happy with their lives because they did not try to resist or fight back against slavery. So this is also something that we did a little bit in class, but now if you want to focus your meal paragraph only on talking about different types of resistance or rebellion against slavery, if you think that's an interesting topic, then you can write about that, okay? Here's another myth. Slave owners treated their slaves like family and took care of them as if they were part of their family, okay? So this is another myth that people discuss about slavery, is that the slave owners, they just treated the slaves that they were part of their family, that they were their children, and they were taken care of. So if you think that this is like well, all of these are myths, okay? We're not saying that any of these are true, but if you think that it's interesting to write against this, if you want to provide evidence against this idea, then you can choose number three. Number four, forcing Africans into slavery was okay because the same type of slavery already existed in Africa, okay? So this is also like a myth that is often told by people who defend slavery. And basically here, you will have to talk about, it's a kind of a comparison, right? You have to talk about what slavery was actually like in Africa, you know, like what the characteristics of slavery were like in Africa, and then talk about how life was like for people in the United States, and say, see, they're not the same. They're different types of slavery. Okay. Oh, we have a question. What's up? Okay, Anthony, that's your choice. You don't have to tell everyone that, Anthony. Come on. What is it? Okay. So Anthony's going to take the fastest, the easiest choice. Okay. So I think what I'm saying is like, look, what I said, Anthony, is not very different, okay? So I said I want you to pick the topic that is the most interesting for you, okay? Yo lo que le estoy pidiendo es que elijan el tema o el tópico que es más interesante para ustedes. So, si eligen la opción más interesante para ustedes, pues se les va a hacer menos trabajo porque es un tema que es interesante para ti, all right? So think of it that way. So I'm asking you to choose the myth that is most interesting for you, that you want to give details against, right? And I think that if you choose one that is most interesting for you, then the work becomes easier, okay? All right, so that's number 4. And the last one, number 5, and this is also an actual myth that people believe. The way that people were treated during slavery is something from the past and does not happen in the modern world, okay? So la forma en que las personas fueron tratadas durante la esclavitud es algo del pasado y es algo que ya no pasa, ya no sucede en el mundo moderno, okay? So, you know, we just talked about it today. So, you know, if you wanted to talk, like give more details or more examples from modern slavery, if this is something that's interesting to you, then you would focus on this one, okay? And just to let you know that all of these are actual myths that exist about the topic of slavery. So this is not something that I made up. This is like, these are actual myths. And remember, you are choosing only one, okay? Choose only one of these, all right? Now, let's get to the actual part of the meal paragraphs, okay? So for the introduction, I'm asking you to do these 2 things, okay? So basically for the introduction, you're just completing these sentences. La introducción simplemente van a completar estas oraciones, okay? So the first part of the introduction is this. Slavery is defined as, I'm just asking you for a definition of slavery, okay? So if you wanted to look it up on Google, you can look it up on Google. If you wanted to, you know, based on what we've learned, if you wanted to write your own definition, you can write your own definition. That's also fine. But you need to do the first sentence of this meal paragraph is you putting a definition for slavery, okay? After you finish this definition, you're going to write, you're going to complete this sentence, okay? According to this definition, the treatment of Africans brought to the Americas was definitely slavery because, all right? So you're going to tell me, like based on the definition you provided, you're going to explain like why the treatment of Africans should be considered slavery, okay? So basado en la definición que pones aquí, vas a decir por qué el tratamiento de los de africanos que fueron traídos a las Américas definitivamente fue esclavitud. All right. So yeah, so like you're basically just saying like this is why it was definitely slavery. Okay. So and that would be your introduction. And here, you know, I'm not asking you to give me a big list, just give like a very like a summary of the way that they were treated, and that should be enough, okay? All right, so now for the claim. So right here, you're doing, it says one of the most common myths about slavery is that, and it says write the myth that you are choosing to debunk or disprove here, okay? So basically, this is what I'm asking you to do, all right? So let's say, for example, here, I'm gonna talk about slave resistance, okay? So I'm just gonna copy this. And then right here, where it says this first part, I'm gonna paste it here. So I'm gonna put it right there, paste. And of course, I'm gonna change here because that, all right, so there you go. That's all you have to do for this first part of the claim. You're just putting in the myth that you're focusing on. So now it says, one of the most common myths about slavery is that enslaved people were happy with their lives because they did not try to resist or fight back against slavery. Okay, so that part of the claim is done. And now then you just have to write this. However, this myth is definitely not true because, and then you're gonna have to write the reasons why this is not true, okay? And of course, right here, you're not giving the most specific details. You know, you're trying to write down why, like some general examples or some general ways that that slaves resisted or rebelled or fought back, okay? So aquí simplemente están poniendo como algo que conecta aquí a lo que pusieron aquí, al mito que pusieron, y vas a decir aquí, por ejemplo, ¿por qué ese mito no es correcto? ¿Verdad? No es verdad. So vas a poner aquí que definitivamente mito no es correcto porque no es verdad, porque, y vas a poner las razones, ¿ok? And remember, whatever reasons you're going to put here, whatever reasons you put here, those are basically that information is what you need to put more evidence about, okay? So whatever you put here, be ready to introduce examples or details in your evidence, okay? Cualquier cosa que pones aquí como tu razón, vas a tener que poner aquí en la evidencia ejemplos o detalles que dan más información sobre lo que pusiste aquí. Okay? So, any questions so far? ¿Preguntas?
No.
No? Okay. I mean, maybe you'll have more questions when you start to work on it, which is fine, but just let me continue. All right, so now you have evidence number 1, okay? So you're just finding an example or detail that connects to your reason in the claim. All right, so your whole claim is about, in this example, you're talking about forms of resistance, right? Like the different ways that enslaved people fought against slavery. All right, so then you're gonna remember, like I said, you're gonna use this website, right? You're using this website to find information. And like I said, this topic is about resistance. And it should be, it's very clearly right here. Click on that. Oh, so there's a question in the chat about whether the examples should be about slavery or in the United States or slavery or modern slavery. Okay, so if you look at the myths, all of these myths are about slavery in the United States, okay? Todos estos mitos, el 1, 2, 3 y 4, es sobre mitos que son sobre la esclavitud en los Estados Unidos, okay? So all of the 1, 2, 3, and 4 are about slavery in the United States. Number 5 is the only one that you will really need to talk about modern slavery, okay? La número 5 es la única que se va a tratar sobre la esclavitud moderna, okay? So if that's something that's more interesting to you, then you will need to answer number 5. All right. So for the evidence, so remember, okay, so like I clicked here. So some of you may need to just look through these to find your answers, but if you're doing resistance to slavery, it has its own section, and you just need to find a couple of different examples, okay? So it would be nice if you chose like different ways of rebellion, of resistance. So for example, here it talks about all the different ways, right? So here, here, and here. So you just need to find an example that you like and use that one. So if we look under violent revolts, here's some information and boom, there's a source, okay? If you want to learn about this rebellion, this is information about the rebellion and there's a source. Go back. So I don't know if you've noticed, but all of the information that's on the site, it has sources attached. Okay, so you don't need to. You don't have to guess. Like it has sources attached. Okay, and then if you wanted to watch a video, then I made sure to put sources there as well. Okay. All right, and let's see. And of course, the analysis, you need to explain how the evidence connects to your claim. And for this mule paragraph, I know we did one on The Simpsons this semester. I only asked for 1 evidence. For this one, I'm asking for 2 evidences, okay? So you need to include 2 evidences that support your claim, okay? And then, of course, the link, and you're done, all right? So do we have any questions about this? ¿Hay preguntas sobre esto? Now, I hear any questions. So if you see here under the assignment, it says that it is due on December 4th. Okay, tiene hasta el 4 de diciembre para completar esto. Okay. Well, it's already 12:31. I don't want to hold you guys here like, longer than you need to be. But I will tell you this. At 2:30, I have history, I have extra history help. Okay, a las 12:30 tengo ayuda extra para historia. So it's just a time where I'm not doing a class. You guys can just stop by and you can ask questions. Okay, you can ask me questions about your work or about about history. So here's my recommendation. Aquí es mi recomendación. All right. So I recommend that maybe sometime after this class, you look through this. You try to see how much of it you understand. And then if you have questions, then you can come to my 2:30 history help and I can answer those questions for you. Okay. Mi recomendación es esta. Yo, como les dije, tengo ayuda extra a las 2:30 hoy. Entonces, yo recomiendo que lean las instrucciones, las direcciones aquí, lean a ver si entienden lo que tienen que hacer. Y si tienen algunas preguntas sobre alguna sección, me pueden venir a mi clase, a la sesión a las 2:30 y me pueden hacer preguntas. Okay. So, hopefully that makes sense. Okay, and there's still some time before, we are gonna have, you don't have school on Thursday and Friday this week because of the holiday, because we have Thanksgiving. Okay, no tienen escuela el jueves y el viernes esta semana por el día de gracias, ¿verdad? Acciones de gracias. Pero next week, you can ask me questions during class, or we'll also have more other extra help sessions. Okay. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. I'll send an email if you are interested in coming to the 2:30 help. I'll send an email to all the students. So if you wanted to stop by and ask questions, you can stop by and ask questions. Okay. All right. So I think that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for stopping by, and I will talk to you later. Okay.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Nos vemos.
Hey guys. Nos
Bye.
vemos, right? Bye-bye. Bye.